The next icon which you can do is this App Store icon. It's quite easy, but this time we cannot use any symbols from the font because there is not such a pen and brush, so we have to draw it from the standard shapes instead. But first, start with our shape, paste it, move it next to the App Store icon, zoom in a little bit, and we will start with this background gradient from the light blue to the darker blue. So change the fill to gradient fill. For the first color step, set some lighter blue color, maybe this one, and for the darker one, set some more saturated one, maybe this one. Okay, I think this one is just fine. Okay, we can move it over the icon and hide it for a minute. Next thing which we want to do are those two shapes, that is the pencil and the brush. We'll start with the brush because it's more difficult. You can see that the end is a little bit rounded, so we will draw this shape which is called, well, let me find it. It's this shape, around same side corner rectangle. In here we can control the roundness of the sides on the opposite side, so we want those to be not rounded and those to be a little bit rounded. Resize it, zoom in even more, rotate it just like this, move it over, resize it again, maybe rotate it a little bit more, like this. Set the outline to no line. I think that the shape is almost right, just a little bit rotated. Okay, now we want the second part to be also in the same rotation, so the easiest way to do is to duplicate this shape, change the roundness to none for both sides and resize it like this. Maybe change the fill to white so we can see it properly. This end, the tip of the brush, can be either created by the drop symbol, or we can try to find a symbol from the font, which will be probably easier. So insert new text box, insert new symbol, and from the font CUI symbol, insert this chestnut symbol. Okay. For the text box, change the outline to no outline, fill to no fill. You know it, change the margins to 0, so you can have the text box as small as possible. Change the font fill to white, make it smaller, and rotate it in the same way as the rectangles. It will be rounded on the opposite side, but it doesn't matter that much. We can show this around the rectangle for a while, so we can tweak the rotation and the position better, like this. Okay, I think this is just fine for the brush, so we will hide this rectangle and continue with the pencil icon. We will use the same technique because this side is also rounded, so we will copy paste this shape, rotate it like this, duplicate it again, make it much smaller for the tip, make those sides not rounded, move with the arrow keys on the keyboard, resize it like this, and we will insert a new triangle shape for the tip. Set the line to no line and fill, of course, to the white color. Like this. Okay, I think this is just fine. The last thing which we want to add is this line in between. Actually, it's not the last thing, but the next thing which we want to add is this line in between. So we will insert new line. it will be easier than inserting a rectangle because we can tweak the size properly using those values instead of trying to resize it with the mouse. So we will tweak those width value to have the same width, change the line to the white color, and now we want to have it crop it, or we have those gaps next to the pencil and the brush. So we will use our old technique for masking the object. So we will insert a new freeform shape, and we will go from the top, maybe here, draw a line like here, go back and draw a line below the pencil like this, and then go all the way up like this and finish it with the enter key. Now we want this line to have the fill like the background, so we'll change the line fill to gradient fill and set the same fill. We can choose these colors from the recent colors. It's in the opposite direction, so we'll change it to 2070 like this. And now what we want to do is to move this line below, that is this straight connector, over this rounded rectangle, and move this freeform below everything except for this straight connector, so like this. And now we want to increase the width for this line until it will create those two gaps like this. You can see that here it goes over the icon. It is because we have to set the join type to maybe bevel or round like this. So if we are almost done, the last thing which we want to add is this circle. We don't need to hide everything else. We will just insert new circle with the shift key pressed, position it properly, make it a little bit bigger, set the fill to no fill, outline to white, maybe keep it blue, increase the width like this, change the line color to white, show the rounded rectangle, and we are done. The only thing which we need to do is to select everything, group it together, rename it to App Store icon, and move it to the first page. And you can see that on the top there is something wrong, so we'll try to fix it. We'll jump into this freeform shape, choose edit points, maybe move this a little bit to the bottom like this.